Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Ashley Brianna Eve. Here we talk about pop culture, power, and media manipulation from my background in branding, SEO, psychology, and marketing. So I bring what I do full time, which is I run my own business, helping brands and public figures, CEOs with branding and marketing. I bring it here to help you understand what's going on behind the headlines and behind some of the PR moves or marketing moves that the biggest news stories are making. So right now it's really Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds. Today, we're addressing specifically Joe Rogan coming out in support of Justin Baldoni, why this is huge from a brand marketing PR perspective. We're also going to look at, and I believe, what to be ready to go canned articles with certain publications that Blake Lively's team has ready to go to hit the news as soon as something like this drops. So we're going to look at all of this in today's episode. I can't wait to go on this wild ride with you today. This video is going to get no reach, but I refuse to be silenced, and I refuse. First, we are going to look at this clip from the Joe Rogan Experience. I don't know about you guys, but I remember Joe Rogan from Fear Factor. I think that ages me. Loved him on Fear Factor. And the Joe Rogan Experience is his mega hit. I mean, probably top performing, I would imagine. I haven't looked at the numbers, but top performing podcast on Spotify. So that alone should say something on how important this shout out to Justin was in support of Justin. But with this episode, he talks about first, I mean, they're just chit-chatting back and forth is kind of the point, right? They're watching UFC in the background. They're talking amongst themselves as they go, which is what also makes this podcast so popular is it's not scripted. It's more fun. It's relaxed and relatable. It's just guys sitting around talking and watching sports. Joe speaks first about that, about how false Me Too allegations can damage someone's reputation. And then he talks about this. And this is what he has to say. All right, I've got it queued up. Let's go.
Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively thing.
Bro, Blake Lively, talk about ruining your reputation, and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, they fucked up. Ryan's trying to get out of it now. He's trying to get out of the lawsuit. And they're like, you are a key part of this.
This is what you get, though. This is what you get. You're trying to fucking ruin a guy's livelihood by using the Me Too movement.
Because they were trying to take over the movie.
Yeah.
They were trying to take over the movie and the whole franchise. He owned the franchise.
They're fucked.
The whole thing's crazy.
They're fucked.
And he's suing the New York Times, and he's got a great case.
He's going hard in the paint. But that's what it takes.
That's what it takes.
It's like Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
He's like, all right.
Yeah.
He did for the boys.
Exactly. Exactly. You got to do it.
You need real motherfuckers to be like, nah, man, I ain't going out like this.
Yeah. Especially a guy like that. It was like known as being like this really sweet, nice guy.
Yep.
And then it's like, all right.
Dude, he posted the receipts.
Oh,
he's like, oh, remember our text exchange?
Well, how about she told him to, to come into the dressing room while she was breastfeeding? And then part of the complaint was that he came into the dressing room while I was breastfeeding. Like, you literally have a text exchange back and forth. They just never thought that anybody was going to come out with the receipts.
Because no one's ever done it. Because everyone usually just bows down.
Because everyone's scared.
Yeah.
Because Ryan Reynolds A-list, Blake Lively A-list. Like, they're the queens.
That's like 18.
Oh, is it over?
Yeah, we missed it.
God
it's
damn it.
2025. That shit's over, man.
18 up against the cage.
That's one of the most powerful pieces there, in my opinion. It's 2025. That shit's over, man. Now, why is this so important to Justin Baldoni's case? Now, number one, this is something that you can call, there's different names for it, but ultimately it's organic third-party narrative amplification. And with that, essentially what we're looking at is someone that's trusted, Joe Rogan, uses their voice to pick up a story and lend it credibility and cultural weight. Now, that's going to spread outside the original demographic, because if we look at the demographic of who likely already knows about the story or is following this story, it's people that probably know Justin from Jane the Virgin, those that have interest in It Ends With Us, the book or the movie or both, and or those that follow pop culture. At the end of the day, people say, I don't believe that there's still support for Ryan Reynolds. I can't believe in Ontario. Like, it must just be where you are, because there's no way there's support for Ryan Reynolds. Like, where I am, there isn't. The reality is, unless someone is actively seeking out this story through unconventional means, so TikTok, YouTube, they're getting fed a certain narrative through Google, or they're just not hearing it at all because they genuinely do not care. And so when we have someone like Joe Rogan that comes out and starts to spread this message beyond the original audience, beyond the original demographic to, I would say, a predominantly male audience. And likely, if we're looking at who his target audiences, it's more likely people that are going to be Ryan Reynolds fans at the end of the day. Those that probably watched Marvel movies, Deadpool movies, and wouldn't have heard about this story otherwise. And then you attach it to a trusted name, you automatically gain authority and trust by being attached to a trusted name. So that's where it's so important also for brand collaborations is you gain authority, you gain trust by being attached to a trusted name. So now this discourse around Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds is framed through a new lens. And we're also getting a new lens of it, right? So it's not just bullying through nice pool. Like at the end of the day, there's probably a lot of men that are like, whatever, who cares? But now we're getting it through a new lens. Now the new lens is freedom, censorship, injustice through Me Too being weaponized against men, etc. It's not just celebrity gossip now. It's like protect yourself and your sons because Me Too is being weaponized against you. It is a different lens. And it's not to say that no one hasn't touched on this already, but it is ultimately a new perspective to a new audience. And this begins to threaten the controlled narratives. I have another video coming out later today where I look at why and how PR teams for those, for example, like Blake and Ryan, do go after smaller accounts. I had someone say, like, you're a smaller account, so they're not coming after you. I mean, one, I was featured in Glamour, so someone's paying attention, right? But two, the thing with this is it's a control narrative that's been pushed out, and it's very easy to suppress small accounts. You just suppress hashtags. And for those of us that are relying on hashtags or the algorithm, if you suppress those hashtags, well, you effectively take out everyone at the end of the day. It's like one sweep and you get rid of everyone because you've suppressed the hashtag. You can't do that with someone like Joe Rogan. You can't silence him. You can't spin it. And it's hitting a whole new audience. So it goes right in the face of the controlled narrative. It's also native cross-pollination. With native cross-pollination, people who, again, never cared about Justin Baldoni are learning about it from the lens, again, of free speech, censorship, abuse of power, and abuse of Me Too. This is unpredictable for Blake and Ryan's team, how this is going to play out, but I do think they had a canned story ready to go. Also, with this, it's unpredictable for how that's going to go for legacy media. You might actually start to see a little bit of SEO manipulation happen and Blake and Ryan's team scrambling with stories right now because this is controlling the narrative. This is controlling the narrative with the fact that an everyday person is suing Blake and Ryan, just Blake. I misspoke. And it's that girl in the hotel that says that Blake was harassing her and following her and filming her. Now that's taking over the algorithm too. So this is bad news bears for Team Blake and Ryan that we now also have Joe entering the conversation and content creators amplifying his message organically. I know Blake and Ryan want to believe that's not organic and it's bot farms. They are not ones to talk about bot farms, by the way, but the reality is it's organic. And also with Joe Rogan picking it up, it really is amplifying the underdog. You know, he becomes this hero within the story, but from the underdog perspective. You know, it's not celebrity drama. It's this nice guy. Joe keeps saying this nice guy that was being taken advantage of by these assholes, basically. And they said, and I agree, and this is what we've all been saying all along, what they said on the podcast is, I don't think anyone expected Justin to have all these receipts. He kept everything. I learned that the hard way with an employer once as well. I had this bad feeling. I thought if something goes south, I have got to have everything. Sure enough, something went south. There was an issue on the farm. And anyway, long story short, there was an investigation and she tried to throw me under the bus and I had documentation, like a book of documentation, sent it over to the government and it exonerated me from everything. So I don't think, and she definitely did not think I had all of that. Who keeps all of that, right? I don't think Blake figured Justin had all of that. So what he's also doing is, it's not just celebrity drama, because a lot of his niche would probably be like, oh my gosh, like, shut up, who cares? But now it's freedom. Now it's censorship. Now it's abuse of Me Too. And this is huge. And it is dangerous and unpredictable on how this would go. for Blake and Ryan, and also for the mainstream media, because this is unsanctioned from Blake and Ryan's perspective and mainstream media's perspective, unsanctioned narrative validation, which is also validating all the content creators that have been getting suppressed. But I want to show you how Blake and Ryan it came back after this, what they had ready to go. So if we type in Blake Lively news, the main thing is Joe Rogan blasts Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds for suing sweet Justin Baldoni. They fucked up. That's going to be one of the top stories, I think, for some time, to be honest. They're going to have to work hard to suppress that because we are all going to be amplifying it. There's also all of this coming out. Blake Lively hit with new allegations regarding bizarre behavior in hotel lobby. Blake Lively accused of paranoia behavior after young woman records her. Fan claims Blake Lively followed and filmed her outside Texas hotel. I love Blake Lively. Then she followed me in my car. So we have they are losing control of the narrative, Blake and Ryan, right now. They need something. But if you scroll down, do you see it there? Watch, I scroll down. Vanity Fair 49 minutes ago. Have you guys noticed what Blake and Ryan go to? And their bots do this as well. When you get hit with bots from Blake and Ryan, it's very different than bots from Taylor Swift. Bots from Blake and Ryan are pushing the bullying and pushing the political angle. Bots for them will come out and say basically, or paid accounts, sock puppet accounts will come out and say, oh, you must be a Trumper. That's what they always say. And it's funny because I responded to one. Usually I just block. I'm at the age where there's 0 Fs left. I don't care. My whole idea is if I won't invite you to my table in my house, I'm open for discourse. I'm open for healthy debates or answering questions. But if someone comes in aggressive, I'm just like, no, sorry, I'm too old for this. I don't have time for this. So I just block. But this person I had kind of opened up a conversation with, and I said, I'm not even Canadian. And I made a joke about, I think Blake has to pay you better because I actually answer your question, your allegation in the video you're commenting on. And they kind of come back at me and they're like, they said something, LOL, but you didn't answer my original question. And I said, well, I did. You didn't watch it. Oh my gosh. Now I know how to put little thumbs up, or, maybe that's just the universe giving a thumbs up to Justin Baldoni. Yay. I agree with that. So anyway, that's how you know a Blake or Ryan bot account. They're going to come for bullying or politics. So look at this. 49 minutes ago, I'm assuming we're going to have more platforms pick this up. Why? Their PR team is going to be scrambling right now because, again, look at all this. You even type in Blake Lively news and look what comes up before anything pro Blake. Heartbreaking truth behind Justin Baldoni's dramatic new look amid Blake Lively lawsuit. Stress, I read the article and they're talking about how apparently he lost a lot of weight during the launch or the premiere and media campaign for It Ends With Us. Stress will do that to you. So they're just really talking about that. But look at everything that comes up before anything pro Blake. It's wild. All right, so let's click on this. Why conservative media loves Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's showdown. If you hate Hollywood, what's not to love? By David Canfield, March 26, 2025. It's 9:00 a.m. Eastern. I will go down saying that this was ready to go. Megyn Kelly isn't the most obvious candidate to land a scoop about a Hollywood feud. But in January, the right-leaning, I'm sorry, I'm so tired. I am so tired of guys, you have to get a new narrative. I'm sorry, you have to. It is so obvious now when it's a bot article, bot as in paid for, not bot account. They can't, it's right-leaning this, Trump that, Megyn Kelly this, Candace Owens that. And, it's so predictable. It's getting boring at this point. Blake and Ryan, the media is going to get bored of this. We're all bored of this. Kelly debuted a voice message from Baldoni to his dream team editing the movie in which he described being, in Kelly's sympathetic paraphrasing, put in the basement on the premiere of his own movie to meet the alleged demands of his It Ends With Us co-star Blake Lively. He has pictures in the basement. He was literally put in the basement. Vanity Fair, Glamour, anyone listening right now that is mainstream media, this is why people don't trust you. This is why you are going away and why YouTube is taking over TikTok, Instagram. This is why celebrities have an ounce of integrity are moving away from traditional PR approaches, because people can see through this shit and they're tired of being gaslit. They're tired of you controlling narratives that are going against what we are seeing with our own eyeballs. It's not our fault that you're losing control. It's your fault you're losing control. I don't know what to tell you, but this is, you as in legacy media. We saw, like, it's not because of Megyn Kelly's sympathetic phrasing. We literally saw pictures of him in the basement. The man has proof. Stop gaslighting us. We're sick of it. So Vanity Fair goes on. Baldoni's voice memo was part of the effort to soften his image. He doesn't need help softening his image. Get a life, Vanity Fair. So sick of this. The director and star of It Ends With Us, like, sorry if I'm yelling into the microphone. I am so tired of this shit. I'm just tired of it. They are gaslighting. They try to twist it as his brand, as manufacturing, need help softening his image. He's always had a good image. And I honestly believe this is also a dig at Joe Rogan. He's like a sweet guy. No. Don't believe Joe Rogan. Don't believe the content creators. He needed help softening his image. This wasn't supposed to be unhinged, but we're getting there. The director and star of It Ends With Us entered 2025, having just been sued by Lively for creating a hostile work environment. We already know this. Meanwhile, Friedman has depicted Lively as a waking Hollywood nightmare. Walking? Did you mean walking? I mean, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm not wanting to talk about typos, but if you're going to be sassy, waking Hollywood, I imagine you meant walking. Friedman does not have to frame her like that. What is wrong with legacy media? Are we living in the upside down? Or are they just trying to drag us back into the upside down? Like, I don't know. Legacy media is playing you for a fool, my friends. Legacy media is playing you for an idiot. This is why they're losing control. And here's the problem. In 2025, like they were saying on Joe Rogan's podcast, this won't fly anymore. And the smart public figures and celebrities are moving away from this overly contrived, controlled, PR-driven image because people can see through it and people don't want it anymore. We're tired of it. Right-wing talking heads love stories about liberal hypocrisy, and Hollywood is a great hunting ground. This is such bullshit. But look at who they also bring into it. During the trial, you can tell the public was largely Team Depp as gleefully sexist memes mocked, heard, proliferated on TikTok and YouTube. The campaign was facilitated. Here's another talking point for Blake Lively's PR. Hi, Blake Lively's PR. Do you guys want to make it more obvious? You don't even need someone like me talking about branding and marketing to call it out anymore. It's so obvious. The campaign was facilitated by Depp's sophisticated crisis PR operation, the same firm, notably, that Baldoni hired, and further boosted by the Republican Party. The House Judiciary GOP's official Twitter account applauded the news of Depp's court win. Donald Trump Jr. posted, "Believe all women except Amber Heard." The case presented the chance of a sweeping collective Me Too backlash, abruptly reversing a 5-year trend of powerful men facing consequences. What about, I don't know, Terry Crews? Where were the consequences on the powerful men and men actually, because Ari Emanuel tried to hide it and cover for it? Where was the consequences for them? Or if men are on the other side, on the receiving side, does it not count? I guess it doesn't really fit the narrative, right? Doesn't fit the narrative that the Me Too movement wanted to push. This is, I mean, my audience has enough critical thinking skills that y'all, I know you don't need me to rant on this and see all the holes with this, but they hit every single talking point without going over too much. Like, it feels like this person did bare minimum, because that is literally the article. That's the article. So they hit Megyn Kelly. You got to get Megyn Kelly or Candace Owens in there. Bonus points if you get both, if you can work both in. But they just went basic bitch with Megyn Kelly. You have to get Brian Friedman in there. creating this false image. He had an aggressive media tour. What? You guys can't rewrite history. They hit the other talking point about Baldoni's voice memo was part of an effort to soften his image. So hitting that his image was fake. They bring in right wing. They say right wing. They talk about Depp. They bring Trump's name into it. You can't forget Trump's name. It is not an official Blake Lively hit piece against Justin Baldoni and those supporting him unless you bring Trump in. So kudos, you worked Trump into that as well. And you even worked in Donald Trump Jr. That's impressive. Especially in like, I don't know, did they give you a word count that you had to hit and you did the bare minimum? Like, look, everyone's got to, pay the bills. But I'm just saying, legacy media, there's space on YouTube for you if you want to like start being able to sleep better at night and be on the right side of history. That's all I'm saying. But let's also look at one more thing. So this is a problem for Blake as well, with the fan coming out. I loved Blake Lively. Then she followed me to my car. So it's also being framed as like, look, I was a Blake Lively fan. I was excited to see her. And then that crazy bitch followed me to my car and harassed me. This is a problem. I've always joked of, they don't want to come after small creators like this. They don't want to cause this kind of problem. I've even joked that they don't want to come after me. You come after me and you're taking down a small animal sanctuary that looks bad in the public. Fan claims Blake Lively followed and filmed her outside Texas hotel. Very paranoid behavior. Molly McPherson is a PR person that I follow. She's fantastic. I can actually see if I'll see if I can find the video of her talking about this and how she believes it. If I can, we'll add it into this video. A fan claims Blake Lively allegedly followed her to her car after they apparently stayed at the same Texas hotel earlier this month. The 27-year-old Caitlin Cooper spoke with the Daily Mail about the alleged interaction with Lively 37. The Houston native and her mother were allegedly staying at the hotel 1928 in Waco when they claimed they caught wind at the presence of a celebrity guest. A female staff member told us if we hung out and stuck around, we might be able to see this person. So obviously that sparked our interest, as it would anybody. She alleges in the interview published on Monday, March 24th. We ended up finishing dinner. We went back down to the lobby and sat in the lounge area just hanging out. And shortly after that, Lively walked in. Cooper recalled recording a brief clip of Lively. It was nothing exciting, she told the Daily Mail, explaining that was just something Cooper wanted to show her friends, which is cool, right? You see a celebrity and you're like, you want to show your friends. When she walked into the lobby, she was super loud. Her voice was extremely recognizable. I do believe Blake Lively's voice would be recognizable. Cooper alleged, I think she said hi to the two people at the front desk. She looked at us. I believe she spotted us filming her. I will say Colonel Kurtz, which is a huge account on YouTube, she was at that hotel. She had said that she is local to this hotel. And some of the details that this person gave of Lively actually match up, apparently about crutches and stuff. So she did confirm in a video on her YouTube as well that some of these details actually do add up. According to Cooper, she allegedly came face to face with Lively the following morning. US Weekly has reached out to Lively's team for comment. We were loading up our car and I heard someone say hi, and it was a woman's voice, she claimed. I looked up to see Blake. She got her phone up like she's recording me. Out of instinct, I just said hi back because what do you say? Lively didn't respond, according to Cooper, but allegedly walked around Cooper's car and appeared to record the entire encounter. Cooper said she was caught off guard and confused about the alleged interaction. It's very paranoid behavior, she added. I was really caught off guard, she said. She then handed her phone off to her security guard and he did another lap around the passenger side and they both went back in the hotel. Cooper spoke about the alleged encounter in a series of social media videos and has apparently been receiving a barrage of hate online as a result. She told the Daily Mail that she's feeling disturbed by the entire alleged encounter. Cooper has yet to release the alleged video from the parking lot. Some of the responses from complete strangers online have been so harsh, she added, alleging that strange views and messages have been coming through her DMs. Once the Instagram stories views from her team, hotel staff, and the harassment accounts began popping up, it then became disturbing, she claimed. And then she did claim that it seemed as though maybe members of Blake's team were watching her account and watching her stories. I have no doubt to see if she was going to actually post it. I believe that 100%. And we're going to flip over to Molly McPherson, one of my favorite PR accounts on Instagram or TikTok. well, any platform. I really like her. I love her takes. What she has to say about this. So it's captioned, did Blake Lively just troll hotel guest in Waco, Texas? Let's break it down. So let's look at what she has to say. And she specializes in crisis PR for high public figures, essentially. I think that's the word I'm looking for. I'm tired. I've created a lot of content this week.
And the hotel girl, true or not? Newsflash, I have no idea, but I just got off of a TikTok live and I also did a Substack live. It's a Friday afternoon. I wanted to hop on and find out what people are talking about. I also went to a lot of the publications to see if I could identify any Friday afternoon news films. I discovered not a one, because almost every news story that I read was depressing and a bad news story. So even if someone wanted to go hide on a Friday afternoon, it'd be too difficult because every news story is a bad news story nowadays. But people want to talk about the hotel girl. I was in Austin the same time Blake Lively was. I could have gone to the premiere. I had to go to the airport instead. That's okay. Is it true or not? I didn't go too deep. I looked at her post. I don't want to explain too much. If you don't know, just Google it. It's a long background. I want to be quick about it. And people were asking if it was true or not. And I have to be honest, like, it was pretty split on the live. A lot of people feeling that, yeah, they could totally see Blake Lively's team doing that. But a lot of people there saying, hey, I'm no fan of Blake Lively, but this doesn't sound believable to me. This is where I land from just what I watched and what I saw. Is Blake Lively being in Waco believable? Going to Magnolia to maybe, I don't know, reinvent herself, maybe get inspired again to go back in. Maybe Magnolia, Meghan Markle's inspiring her to try again. All makes sense. A girl filming security cam of Blake Lively and her team, and then they hone in on her, believable. And then the girl said that Blake Lively said hi and made her turn around and look, and she was filming her. I thought, ooh, that's tricky, deviant. Believable. Also that she was being filmed, all believable. Also believable that her team would go to her Instagram stories and look, that she traced it back to people. Believable as well. The only part that I put 50-50 on is that her team was harassing her and stalking her. Now, there could be receipts that I've never seen and so on and so forth. And I probably will never, but I'll be open to that. But in crisis management, I am always looking at intent. Like, I always want to know why someone is doing something. If someone accuses someone or blames someone of doing something, you always have to ask, why would they do that? I don't think Blake's team would do that for this reason. Everything that Blake is doing right now is actionable, is discoverable. That's what she's learning, particularly in light of the legal papers from that her side just filed, that they want everything to remain confidential. And if you read those papers, like, just go down the list and go, Taylor Swift, Taylor Swift, Taylor Swift, Taylor Swift. She doesn't want anything, out there, understandable. But so much of it is actionable as opposed to inactionable. So I just don't see her team. Like, I think her team has an SOP. These are the procedures. We do not do da, 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 da. So that's the only reason. It's not like I'm dismissing the girl's story. Like, it's likely that she got trolled. I believe that, but I don't know if I believe her team doing that. But that was the big topic. All right. So that's it. That's
All right. So that's Molly's take. I like her and respect her take a lot. I'm not crisis PR. I come more from the branding marketing. I understand PR, not crisis PR. So I always defer to her when it comes to crisis PR. The only thing I would say is I could definitely see sock puppet accounts 100%. I could see bot accounts 100%. And that could be part of the campaign. But I also see that maybe that part wasn't true. But she does agree that everything up until that point is very likely and believable. All right, my friends, I'm going to leave it at that. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about what Joe had to say? I talk about him as if he's my best friend. Like, Joe and I were chatting about this. What do you think? Joe Rogan. And what do you think about this creator, this just individual? I don't even know if she's a content creator. This individual that had this run-in with Blake Lively and is claiming that her team came for her. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.